Senator Rick Scott from Florida, famous for putting forward a plan to end Social Security.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Rick Scott used to be the CEO of a giant hospital company that was convicted of the largest Medicare fraud in the history of the United States, and he's now in charge of old people?
That's the world we live in, Tom. And I will say that's like not even in the top 10 worst things in Washington, D.C. right now.
Sure.
But I did have an opportunity to bring our voices directly to this committee. They were pretending, Tom, that they wanted to deal with inflation and rising costs to help seniors. And I was brought on as a witness by Senator Gillibrand, who is the ranking member, the highest ranking Democrat on the committee. So Rick Scott got 3 witnesses, Senator Gillibrand got 1. And my job was to just sit there and say, stealing our health care is not going to lower costs. Stealing our SNAP, our Meals on Wheels, is not going to lower costs. In fact, it's just going to push people into hunger, poverty, sickness, and death. And nobody voted for that. And I do think that I delivered that message in a way that did get some of the Senate Republicans to actually be on their heels a bit because they know that they're lying, Tom, as you know. They go out there and they know what they're saying isn't true. They know that ending SNAP isn't about lowering costs. It's about paying for a giant tax handout to billionaires. But they expect everyone to play along with them in this make-believe, this Washington, D.C. fiction that we don't know what the Republicans are going to do. Of course we know what they're going to do. They tell us what they're going to do. They're doing it right now. A billionaire has taken control. The richest man in the history of the world has taken control of the U.S. Treasury and is unilaterally ending payments to his enemies. He makes it up. He does what he wants. I guess he believes, like the Sun King, the law is him. That's what the Republicans are doing. We don't have to wonder. So just to be clear, that puts Elon Musk in charge of whether you, me, and everyone else gets their Social Security payments, gets their Medicare turned off, gets their Medicaid turned off. He can personally attack any person now, and he has the data. The damage is done. The toothpaste can't be put back in the tube, but we are going to fight back. We are demanding that every senator, Democratic and Republican, do everything they can to stop this authoritarian hostile takeover. And what that means is the most obvious one for Democrats: deny unanimous consent, blanket oppose every single nomination coming before the Senate right now, drag out everything and force them to eat up all their time defending this hostile takeover by the billionaires of the United States of America.
FYI, Brian Schatz, the Democratic senator from Hawaii, just announced that he's going to do just that. He's going to put a hold on all of Trump's nominees.
And that's exactly what we need. We need senators to stand up. Senator Schatz, who is a stalwart warrior for the people, has always been pushing, stands on the side of the people in all of these fights. He's saying what Elon Musk is doing in trying to unilaterally close USAID, which is the department that pushes American soft power around the world. This is a diplomacy. This is food aid, but it's much more than that. Health, education, and it is actually aimed at increasing America's power, right? Like, that's a misconception.
Russia and China have both spent billions of dollars trying to destroy USAID or discredit it.
Because they know it's effective, right? This is how
we get friends around the world.
Exactly. This is that win the hearts and minds thing. So this is absolutely a unilateral disarmament it's taking a weapon out of America's arsenal that is effectively used to advance U.S. interests. So, do we want a billionaire who is absolutely wed to the governments in China, has personal phone calls with Vladimir Putin? This is the dude who we want to just let shut down parts of our government and just declare them enemies. So what Senator Schatz is doing is absolutely right. And we need every Democratic senator to stop pretending like this is business as usual. This has never happened before, Tom.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
You know history better than anyone. Has this ever happened before?
Well, it happened in the Old South. I mean, the Confederacy turned into a fascist outfit and then declared war on America. But that's it. And in North America, you note that Republican proposals, the Republicans have proposed cutting $2.3 trillion out of Medicaid. Give us the details here.
The details are, like many Republican proposals, it's really simple. If you cut what they say on paper, right? This is not like we don't know. They write it down. It's their menu of options. If you cut 2.3 trillion from Medicaid, Medicaid ceases to exist. It does not exist anymore. And that means that the largest provider of long-term care in this country, the only provider of long-term care for the majority of Americans, goes away. So then families are forced to bear somehow the average cost of long-term care, $100,000 a year, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
So what it does is it pushes Americans into poverty, sickness, and death. It turns nursing homes, which have already been turned into, nightmare situations by private equity across this country, turns them into death traps, right? There's no more Medicaid funding. The whole system collapses. And that's just the long-term care portion. Medicaid primarily takes care of children and seniors, people with disabilities. The idea that somehow you can, and this is what they keep saying, this will put people back to work. Who? The child? What are you sending them to the mines? The 89-year-old who relies on Meals on Wheels for the hot meal they might get that week, the only human interaction that they get, that person is supposed to just get a job.
Alex, if they cut $2.3 trillion out of the federal budget by eliminating Medicaid or gutting Medicaid, then that's $2.3 trillion that they can give in tax breaks to billionaires without affecting the federal deficit.
That is so
this is their strategy, is it not?
It is. It's just one more layer. It's not just because they don't care about the deficit, right? I mean, it's not like it's a philosophical thing. It's a process thing. Yeah. They know they don't have 60 votes in the Senate. So the only way they can pass anything, including the tax handout to the billionaires, is using budget reconciliation so that they only need 51 votes. Right. To use budget reconciliation, it has to be neutral. So any handout to the billionaires has to be paid for by matching cuts. And that's what Medicaid is, transfer of wealth from the American working people into the hands of the wealthiest people, including Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world, who now just makes decisions about what happens in yours and my and every American's life.
Yeah, who's literally making billions of dollars every day on most days. Alex, we're just about out of time here. What's your call for action? What should people who are listening or watching us right now be doing?
So if you're on Blue Sky, Facebook, you can go on to Social Security Works, socialsecurityworks.org, or Indivisible. But we are calling on every person in this country to call their senators and demand that they use everything in their toolbox, deny unanimous consent, filibuster literally everything, eat up as much floor time as possible. We have a list and a script. Call every senator and say, follow what Senator Schatz is doing, right? We cannot allow this to proceed as business as usual. We'll also have a demonstration outside of Treasury tomorrow. Treasury is right next to the White House. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. To shine a light on the illegal activity of Trump and his little band of criminals who have broken a myriad of laws and believe that they can just get away with it. And we have to stand up and say, no, you can't.
Are you participating in this planned Wednesday at noon in state capitals and Congress protests or demonstrations? Do you know who's even putting this thing together?
I don't know who's putting it together.
Apparently,
which is
it's being
worrying.
blocked on Facebook right now.
It's always worrying to me when I can't get in touch with the organizers. You know, I wish all opposition well, but we are going to focus on our strategy,
Right.
really focusing in on the threats to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, from Elon Musk's takeover of the Treasury, from Donald Trump's plans to just steal our earned benefits and give them to his billionaire paymasters in the form of giant tax cuts.
Yeah, and his billionaire colleagues. I mean, you know, he's one too. Alex Lawson, president of Social Security Works, socialsecurityworks.org. Check it out. Alex, thanks so much. Always great talking with you. Keep up the great work. You're doing God's work, my friend. We'll be back. It's 17 minutes past the hour.